Welcome back to the OPL. If you're just joining us, AV too strong for Legacy, beating them 2-0. And I just saw a tweet from their support player, Jake, saying, look, it's the first week of me growing a mustache, first week of us playing to our potential.
I did see that. I noticed that on the cams.
Facial hair. Oh, really? I couldn't pick it up. I asked for a close-up. He said, subscribe to my Patreon if you want to see a close-up. So I feel like this is going down a dark path that I'm not going to engage with.
Moving on.
Our second game of the day is Direwolves taking on Regicide. And after that first series, maybe anything.
Double upset.
Yeah, double upset.
Double upset. 2-0 Regicide. Here we go.
Yeah.
Lightning doesn't strike in the same place twice, right? Like, surely not.
I mean, historically, it must have at some point, surely.
I don't know. I haven't done the maths on it.
We all predicted the 2-0 Legacy.
Yeah.
What are you going to predict now?
I will say that no one on Direwolves has publicly tweeted saying that they have the Black Death or whatever. So no one's saying they're very ill on Direwolves, and potentially that sickness that's running rampant through your team house choose could be taking its toll.
Telling you, they unleash the plague on everyone else.
Oh, I see. Yep. Yeah. All right. Well,
Inside
the chemical
knowledge.
warfare has begun. Let's take a look at Direwolves because I want to talk about their top laner Chippies going into ZZZ, who has been kind of the only carry threat for Regicide in some games.
I would. Oh yeah. In some definitely. The AV series last week. He played Jax and showed a great efficiency on the champion, almost carrying his team. If they didn't try and team fight with LeBlanc and Jax, they may have pulled a game off AV. But this guy definitely is a carry threat. And going into Chippies, this will be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I think that he, in his own right, is a very good player, and in lane, he's often looked fantastic. Taking matchups that aren't actually that favorable and doing very well in them. I think that Chippies probably is like the strongest top laner at the moment in the OPL, at least on stage. He definitely appears to be. And I think that Chippies is the kind of guy who sort of has like, an answer to everything. He always has like one trick waiting up his sleeve. So I think that, it doesn't really matter what ZZZ pulls out. I expect that Chippies probably does have a counter for it.
Yeah, and the other thing is because Direwolves are known as being such strong laners, that potentially even if Chippies does have a bad matchup, he can kind of pull through and wait till a point where his champion scales, or they can team fight around certain objectives. But the other thing I want to talk about with Direwolves is that we've seen them try a couple of different comps in the past. There's sort of standard laning one, and then also this Protect the Cogmore comp they played a couple of weeks ago, which then they kind of didn't protect the Cogmore.
Yeah.
So do you think that that's a potential thing to come back now, given that they would see themselves as favourites going up against Regicide?
No.
No.
I don't think they will show anything particularly new. I think we're in the final weeks of OPL. It's best to hold on to any of your secrets and bring those into the gauntlet. So that Cogmore comp that they did play into AV and they dropped a game about 2-3 weeks ago, didn't win, but they may have refined it, and it may be something that they're holding on to going to the gauntlet.
Yeah, I think against the bottom lane of Regicide, they're going to want to pick something that's just like pretty bully oriented, and maybe just like early skirmish focused, and look to punish that bottom lane, especially if we're seeing these young players. Kedu again only had his first his OPL debut last week. I think they'd rather play something that's a bit more in your face.
Yeah. So you don't think there's going to be a Draven Janna bot lane for coming out of Direwolves today?
I don't know. Maybe.
Who knows? Who knows?
For Regicide though, I feel like they really need to start. They really need to pick up a win today or in the next couple of weeks, because right now they are kind of languishing down the bottom of the table with TM, and they just want to get off that bottom. Right? They just want to get to that maybe 7th, maybe even 6th place spot, so they don't go automatically into Primorello. So this is This is kind of rubber hits the road moment for them.
Yeah. I think they're just trying to avoid relegations at this point, not trying to get that last spot, trying to hold on. They've got the head-to-head over TM, so picking up a win today would definitely be very good for them.
Yeah, this feels really inauthentic to say, but this is the sort of week that both teams really want to win. Not that they don't every other week, but Direwolves need to pick up these 2-0 sort of thing, especially if they want to come first over Legacy after last match. And their next 2 weeks should be easier than their last week against Chiefs. Not even biased, just like looking at the standings. And then as you said, that Regicide don't want to come last and face relegations automatically, so they also really want to win. So it is actually a really important best of 3.
So to be clear, this means that if Direwolves take this 2-0, they go ahead of Legacy on that table. So it's very, very interesting, very definitive stuff. Let's take a look at these guys getting ready, I believe, in their... Nope, that's not what we're doing. I apologize. Nope.
Never mind.
All right, let's take a look at their mid lanes, shall we? Because I want to look at that matchup as well. It is Human going up against Fantix. And choose your mid laner. Tell us your thoughts on this matchup.
I think I think that Soman's champion pool directly counts as, sorry, not Fantix, but the Direwolves playstyle. Direwolves are known to be a team that stay that extra wave, and champions like Ari and LeBlanc are really good at rotating and punishing those kinds of players. So I definitely think Soman is a big carry threat, especially just against Direwolves. But then again, Fantix is known to be the guy that just nullifies and pulls a 50-50 in mid lane. He'll play Corki, he played Victor last week. He plays these strong scaling champions that just nullify the lane, and he'll probably look at just not letting Soman roam the map.
I think it's a really bold call to say that one guy counters an entire team's playstyle, but I think it does hold a lot of merit in the sense that I think Direwolves have often, shown a lot of dominance because they'll push 3 lanes at once and they sort of suffocate teams out, and they sort of starve them of farm, and they make teams choose between if they'll catch this wave or this wave while they get all 3. And if you can play an assassin, especially like LeBlanc, who can maybe run TP, I think that there is a lot of room for them to punish Direwolves' over-aggressive tendencies.
Well, speaking of Direwolves, let's take a look at their lineup, shall we? Their top laner, who we spoke about, is Chippies with those extra cards up his sleeve. Their jungler is Schoenfly, who popped off on the Zac last week. Their mid laner is Fantix, and their bot lane is comprised of King, their AD carry, and support player and friend of the show, Destiny. I was sliding into Destiny's DMs this week. I was having a quick chat with him.
Were you?
What do you reckon his favourite film of all time is, if you had to guess?
Favorite film? Up.
Up. Interesting choice. The exact opposite of that, in fact, it is 8 Mile. It's the Eminem movie, the Eminem semi-autobiographical biopic, 8 Mile. There you go. Anyway, let's take a look
Thank you for that.
at their opponents across the Rift. Regicide are getting ready to play this game against a very favourable opposition. Their top laner is ZZZ. Their jungler is Fade. Their mid laner is Human. Their AD carry is Kedu. And their support is Shen Xuan, their bot lane has played a couple of rotations now, and I feel like they can only improve after last week's performance against AV because they got stomped, losing 7-minute turrets in, I think, 2 games.
Yeah, I know them both from solo queue, and they both are very good players. It was very surprising that I was really hoping that they had a good debut last week, but as you said, it's only uphill from here.
Yep.
It's only up from here, but
it's only uphill from. It's only going to get more difficult, to be honest.
It's going to be way harder next week.
Well, speaking of which, let's get you guys' predictions before we get into this first match. This first game of our second match. Choo-choos. Do you think your friends from solo queue can make it happen?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I want to say 2-0 Direwolves, but then I just said that for Legacy, but I feel like this game will be different. I'm going to say 2-0 Direwolves.
All right. Jish?
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 Direwolves. Despite being wrong last time, I think that Direwolves are the better team and they'll win 2-0, which sounds a lot like what I said half an hour ago, but whatever.
All right. Well, let's take a look at your tips as well. opltips.com.au. And once again, Direwolves out in front and favourites. But those true believers, those 7% of people who picked Regicide, I mean, if another upset happens, they are storming the table of the tipping ladder. Remember, we are giving out Uber Eats vouchers and also RP to winners of the tipping comp. And I think it's like top 200 people who get some Uber Eats cash money. Well, maybe it's top 150. Anyway, it's a lot of people. Tweet at us your questions about patch 7.15. They're on hashtag IMOPL or in Twitch chat. Ask your questions and we will put them up in our analyst desk segments. But for now, it is time for us to get into our second match of the day to see if Direwolves can take on Regicide and take the top of the ladder. Let's throw it over to your casters, Spawn and Fish.
Thanks, guys. I'm Matt Fish Stewart. Joining me is Jace Tabiri. Awesome catch, by the way.
Thank you.
Hingis is out now, but we're about to get into this first match of the second series of today. Direwolves taking on Regicide.
Yeah, this should be a really fun game. I'm looking forward to seeing how Regicide have integrated Kedu into their lineup. We know he's a big hyper carry player. I'm excited to see whether he can take it to the Destiny King bottom lane. Before we get into that, Fish, what's your favorite film?
Ooh. This is a tough one. I actually don't know off the top of my head what my favorite film is.
You must have known this question was coming. I do this every time he gets asked.
No, because every time movies or TV shows come up, I'm always way behind everyone else I cast with.
But
especially
surely,
casting with Frost Scream for an entire split. Goodness.
Come on, you got to have something like Aladdin or something. What's the Singaporean equivalent of Aladdin?
What? Aladdin is the Singaporean equivalent of Aladdin spot.
All right, there we go. So you must. Did you like Aladdin as a kid?
Yes, I did. That was not my... goodness sake. I don't know where to go here. Probably Hercules.
Hercules. I liked Hercules as well. That was great. Some fantastic songs in that. Won't sing for you now, but you come to karaoke with me in a couple of weeks. Certainly we'll bust them out now. Beauty and the Beast is the best film of all time, I think. And if we're banning Disney films, which all my friends do whenever we have this conversation, I like Fight Club. Fight Club is a very good film. Anyway.
I know you've got a few good stories about this film. You spoiled it for quite a few people.
Let's not talk about that.
Let's go into the picks and bets here. LeBlanc, Rennerton, and Callista banned out by the Direwolves. Regicide are going to take away Gragas, Maokai, as well as Thresh.
And I like this. I mean, Direwolves straight away, they hit the two big lane bullies that they like to play on the side of Regicide, LeBlanc as well as Renekton. If anyone is going to play ZZZ this week, it will... if anyone's going to play Urgot, it'll probably be ZZZ. However, I would like to see a Jogmore comp for Kedu.
Let's see what they do. Oh, they do lock in the Cogmore here, so Kedu will be playing that here today against the Caitlyn.
There we go.
And Lulu's picked up as well.
We saw this last week for the Chiefs against Sin, I believe. They stormed onto Summoner's Rift, big protect the Cogmore comp. They absolutely bodied Sin. Then Sin said, sorry, we're not letting that happen again. And got rid of the Lulu, I think, in the subsequent 2 drafts. And then it all fell on their face for the Chiefs, who since then have been probably licking their wounds back at the Chiefs' house. Something along those lines. But whoa, that's a different draft out at Direwolves.
Talia as well as Elise picked up very early for the Wolves.
I mean, they've thrown late game scaling on its head, Fish. This is a patch where Maokai, Zach, Sejuani are strong. And they've just locked in Elise Talia.
You challenge Fantix to pick something other than Corki. He's done it.
I mean, he's picked like Mage Corki. Wall is pretty much the same as Package. Very similar. Rockets is just Q. I could come up with some metaphors here.
Well, auto attacks are different though, Spawn.
He also told me upstairs, if it's open, he's picking it. So there we go.
Jarvan is the response from Regicide, one of ZZZ's stronger champions. And they actually ban out Jax as the first pick from Chippies.
Jax has a fine lane into Jarvan. We've spoken about this a lot on the show. We're one of the regions that still plays Jax, so makes sense to get rid of that. I would expect maybe a Camille ban to come out as well, Fish, if they're worried about Chippy's champion pool.
Potentially. Let's see if they do go for the Camille ban here. If they take away something more meta-heavy. Dejana gets banned out from Destiny.
Makes sense. They want to play the scaling bottom lane.
I mean, Zed's going to be the final ban from the Direwolves. That makes sense. Double assassin ban towards Sealman. And on top of that, Camille ban not coming through. Jarvan does do all right into the matchup top lane.
They can also flex it to jungle.
True.
Forgot to mention that about Regicide. Fade
do it all the
plays Jarvan jungle. That's really boring out of Suman.
I mean, I believe they played Jarvan jungle once when we thought it was going to be better top lane than the actual jungler they picked. Suman is relegated back to Orianna.
Yeah, they picked Jarvan Gragas. And then they sent the Gragas top and the Jarvan into jungle.
Yeah, it was against a good matchup for Jarvan as well, but not for Gragas. It was curious, but let's see what Regicide decided to do, because from the looks of things, AD carry support jungler was their first pick.
Yep.
You'd have to assume this final pick for the Wolfpack is going to, sorry, for Regicide, is going to be trying to counter top lane for Chippies with a Jace pick for the Direwolves. He's been playing it a lot recently. Alistar gets locked in as their support of choice.
I love Sharp. He's going to be on the desk tomorrow, and he's probably going to win this game because he's got a very good outfit, but I do not like his draft. They're running a tankless lineup right now, pretty much. They've only got Alistar for any form of tankiness, and ever since we nerfed his ultimate Fish, he's not even all that tanky. And they are going up against a team-fighting wombo combo. They've got better 1-3-1, but we've just seen that with things like Jarvan on the current patch, it is so easy to force. And Fade's picked up his Kha'Zix again, which we thought would be exclusively banned against him after he went 17-0 something the other day.
I mean, Kha'Zix is one of the champions that was thought to come back with lethality changes again. It was banned out throughout the first week of the OPL.
Yeah, but let's talk about the Direwolves draft, because I feel it's much more interesting. They've got 1-3-1. Jace should be able to bully a little bit. Probably going to be a Bork Jace in the top lane going up against Jarvan, who's a HP stacker. So the Jace does a little, like, it does all right into it. Talia in the mid lane going to be able to shove in. Orianna doesn't like to go to side wave. And then they've got an okay 3-man unit, although since the nerfs come through to Caitlyn. In saying that, Kha'Zix plus Orianna Ball plus Jarvan is a lot of force, and then Kedu's going to have incredibly long range with the Lulu speed up. So I think that as far as drafts go, Regicide's coach, Vicarious, has given them a pretty decent shot at winning this game.
I really liked Regicide's draft. One question I do have, though, is he's been very outspoken about how Chen-Chuan's the more aggressive support that they have on their roster. They've put him on a Lulu, who isn't necessarily the best aggressive
Just take Thunderlords. Just take Thunderlords. If you want to play aggressive Lulu, especially into Alistar, just take Thunderlords, put picks onto him, start autoing him in the head. You'll be absolutely fine. Now, in all seriousness, it's probably going to be win speakers, but Lulu will still be able to bully out Alistar.
Let's see if that goes well for them. I mean, Alistar, as you mentioned, not as tanky as before, did get a slight buff to his ultimate recently, so a little bit better and has been seeing a bit more play locally and internationally. But still, very curious. No tank jungler, no tank top lane.
Well, Alistar's being played lately because heaps of tanks are being played. And therefore, he's disruptive. And, you know, if he doesn't get punished in that laning phase, he's got great CC. No one's really going to turn around and focus him out when you've got a Zac, a Sejuani, and all these other champions jumping on you.
No, he's the only one.
Unfortunately, he's the only one in this game.
I mean, could this be because of the Cogmore pick? No tanks for him to shred? Makes it harder for him to do his job? Who knows?
Who knows? He's gone cleanse and Chen-Chuan's gone heal. This is awesome. We're going to see Wit's End.
Well, let's talk about this a little bit more later on, but for now, Hingers is standing by with the Direwolves coach, Sharp.
Thanks, guys. I'm standing by here with Sharp. And I guess I want to ask about your draft. It feels like you guys are playing a 1-3-1 versus a very team fight heavy comp out of Regicide. Do you see that as a danger at all, with them just being able to like stomp team fights?
Yeah, well, it will really come down to how we execute our composition. As long as we take the fights that we want, constantly talking about what type of fights we want to take and how we want to fight, that'll be really important. So obviously if we slip up, it could be quite bad for us, but I'm quite confident in how the guys have been playing throughout the week, and this is really what we've been practicing. So yeah, it'd be good to see.
I asked this about to Soul Strikes as well in the previous interview, but in the tank meta, I feel like you're not picking a lot of tanks. You've just got Alistar. Are you worried at all that you guys can just get shredded at all? Or
no, well, again, like it really does just come down to how you execute your composition. Like we obviously have the Elise and a lot of early aggression with Talia and a lot of lane pressure with Caitlyn. So as long as we transition those early advantages in lane and push our advantages like steadily throughout the game, it should be fine.
Excellent stuff. All right, well, thank you for speaking to us, and I look forward to you being on the desk tomorrow.
Oh, sweet.
I like his answers there. I agree with him. It comes down to execution. And the beauty of that answer is that you can say that about anything, Fish. Legitimately any comp in the world. If you out-execute the other team, you're most likely going to win.
Full support team?
However, what coaches don't tell you when they give you that speech is that one comp is much easier to execute than the other. And that's what I feel is the problem right now.
I mean,
thoughts?
Isn't that good for the Direwolves? Because they theoretically should be the team that can execute a harder team comp than Regicide.
That is the case. And I think that is exactly what he's saying. SKT, when tanks were running around a little bit last season, were running full tankless, no engage lineups, and they pretty much reshaped the meta around it in Korea. Because they were just coming online at like 1.5 items and absolutely blowing people out of the water. So all of a sudden people had to play early against them, and the meta just left the tank lineups. And I think that that's kind of what Sharp is saying now. If we can execute on this comp with an Elise, with a Jace, as well as a Talia, should be a very quick win.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they're able to do just that. But one thing we really want to focus on as well is this bottom lane from Regicide. You were talking a lot about this earlier today before we went on to the broadcast. But Chen-Chuan and Kedu, two very strong solo queue players, have picked up this cleanse heal tactic. And it's cleanse on the AD carry with heal on the support, something we haven't seen for quite a few seasons.
Yeah, exactly right. So the thought behind that is that Chen-Chuan is going to have the added heal mastery and all the other good things, like as well as the items that increase your heal. So technically, he's going to be able to give a bigger heal than Kedu, is all I'm trying to say, right?
Yep.
Kedu is going to be able to get rid of some form of CC without having to go an early chalice, which means Ardent Sensor can come out as first item from Chen-Chuan. Also means that if he gets ganked right now, he's going to be able to run away.
Let's see what happens. That's a flash straight up to Chen-Chuan, who gets ignited straight away. We'll use his heal, and they get good damage on him. First blood picked up by Shenfire.
Yep, so really nice gank out of Shenfire. However, off the back end of that, has completely given up topside control of his jungle. That should mean that Fade is able to just walk in and take his blue buff right now. But it's certainly worthwhile. You want to be able to shut down. He's not even going for it. He's going for a gank, and he's been spotted out.
Yeah, wants to try and get the jump on towards Chippies. ZZZ is trying to collapse. Flag comes out, no drag, knocks him back. Chippies is away. It doesn't even take much damage for his trouble.
Yeah, Fade goes in again, however, Fish.
Good damage
that's better.
that time. So that's worthwhile.
Yes and no. I think taking the blue buff away from Shern would have been better because all of a sudden Shern has an item advantage as well as going to have camp advantages. So we'll see exactly how it works out. Bottom lane, Kedu is very far behind. We already mentioned this.
And this is not going to be an easy lane for the Kog'Maw Lulu. Yes, they're against a melee support, but it's a Caitlyn up against who just does this. Traps down, headshot comes out, and you're at half health. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, it certainly is, although there is going to be a certain time in this laning phase where they do that, and then Kedu gets a massive shield, turns around and just starts killing Destiny. So I don't think it's an incredibly hard lane.
And one thing you mentioned was Wit's End coming out for this Kog'Maw. Why is that for the cleanse heal?
Because generally with this build that we've seen, for whatever reason, they like the earlier spike of Wit's End over the little bit longer Blade of the Ruined King. So we'll see whether I'm right, but it's just something that they like to come online a little bit earlier. Fantix is winning this mid lane very hard. He's up a potion, as well as about 6 CS at this stage, Fish.
Doing incredibly well on the Talia. Very dominant lane. Oriana not that great into the champion.
Gets shoved in and then Talia just leaves and ganks bottom lane over and over again. That's kind of what we've seen.
Hates being shoved in. She wants to control that one.
Yep. You're going to see potentially another dive bottom lane.
Ooh, this is dangerous. No summoner spells except for Flash on Kedu. Shofire's behind him, flashes forward. They're going to lock down Lulu again. That's a dead purple lady. Chen Shuan gets that kill.
And
sorry, Destiny.
This is what they said that they wanted to do. They wanted to control early tempo through the Elise and really bully around the lanes, and they certainly are doing that right now, Fish.
And it's the perfect lane to do it against. Kedu's on a hyper-scaling AD carry of Kog'Maw. He's shut down very early, makes it harder for him to get online later on.
Now Fade's been stunned up as well.
He's going to get comboed as well by Destiny. The cowbells are ticking. King, even 90 caliber netting forward to try and get more damage down.
I mean, Kedu, unfortunately, has just missed 3 waves of creeps.
Not great. 34 CS to 17 in the bottom lane. Already a big lead for Direwolves.
Yeah, and Fade also, because he went down when support wasn't alive, had to burn Flash Fish. So he's not going to be able to impact that bottom lane without a summoner spell anytime soon.
I mean,
also going to base.
Top lane's dead between Chippies and ZZZ. But in the mid lane, already a small lead for Fantix. Jungle, Direwolves have a massive lead for Shermfire, and King of Destiny both 400 gold up over their counterparts.
Yep, this is a very rough early game when you're down 1,800 gold at only 5 minutes. And all that gold is going over to Shern and going over to King, who's coming back to lane on already a lane bully with a BF sword. Completely agree with you. This early game is going to be really rough, Fish. We'll see whether Regicide can turn it around, because so many times we've seen ZZZ go even, but that unfortunately is not winning them games of League of Legends.
Yeah, he's either gone even or he's won his lane. Every single match he looks like the pillar for Regicide. Fade then tries to back him up. He's tried to have impact on the top side of the map here. However, for Regicide recently, it's been Suman as well as their bottom lane that have not been living up to expectations. Specifically, the bottom lane AD carry, which has now been swapped out to Kedu, who has not had the best performances so far.
Yep.
But Suman, again, he was one of those players that came into Split 1 looking phenomenal, taking it to the likes of Swift.
Here we go.
Fade just caught out here. Shermfire gets good damage, smites away the Raptor camp, and Chippy just snipes off. Very clean from the Direwolves.
Certainly is, and Fade, even though he was upper level there, loses a camp, going to lose topside jungle control. Fantix is just walking at Suman.
That's in between 2 turrets. He does not care.
Does not give a damn right now, Fish.
Shermfire's going to take away more camps from himself. Topside of the map is his. He's already got the Raptors. He wants Krugs as well. Fade is going to be set so far behind, and is this what Sharp was talking about?
Yeah, this is exactly what Sharp was talking about. How active Elise can be in the early game. Doesn't need to get going at all. And Moby boots and just run around between the lanes and continually gank is certainly working out, Fish. Got 2 good deep wards onto the camps to see if Fade goes back onto that side of the map. And right now, they need to just put a big stall on this game. They need Kedu to get towards 1.5, 2 items. So that's not going to happen if he keeps taking trades like that. They need their mid lane Oriana to be, 2.5, 3 items. As Shern is down here again.
Oh boy. They know exactly where Fade is as well, so they can make this play if they want to. Stillman forced to rotate early.
Shern's gone over aggressive here. Fish, he should die.
Gets a cocoon onto Suman and
Should
turns
still
around.
die.
Pops the rappel. Trying to jump down to Scuttle Crab. Will avoid all the damage from Suman. Kato's going to stand and deliver, but already forcing a flash out of Chensho. Fantix now right on top of the Orianna. Shockwave used very early to get an even trade. Rock still being thrown. That's a flash angry counter to face. Suman gets taken down.
That was so strange. Shern was level 5 and ZZZ looking to pick up a kill onto Chippies.
Drop the flag. Doesn't have enough.
Ooh, probably could have got that if he kept going forward there, Fish. I think he thought he had enough damage. Yeah, what I was going to say is you should be able to time where Shern's coming down with a Shockwave combo. He's level 5 with Moby Boots. I mean, that should have been a kill right there. Instead, they didn't want to pull the trigger on the ability. Chenchuan flashed away. He's level 4 to level 6, if you don't mind, and they're going to gank him in between turrets.
It's not great. Yeah, Direwolves are setting up for that. They want Gronk first.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what they want.
No, he loses patience, and so that's on top of a ward as well.
You can see they can't even approach the turret. This is going to be a 9-minute turret going down for Regicide.
Oh, Kato got it!
I mean, that's a consolation prize, Fish.
Yay, we got a crop. We sent a small out.
4,000 gold at only 9 minutes into this one.
Oh, it's 4,000 for King. It's 2,200 for Kedu.
2,800 gold up is King.
Not great. So this is a very one-sided affair at the moment. First turret falls for Direwolves as well. They're looking like they want to go for a perfect game.
22 to 4,000.
That's a bit scary though. If this is the lead Direwolves can create against Regicide this early on to the match, I mean, we expect them to be very dominant in a game against one of the bottom-of-the-table teams, but this is an absolute statement.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is, and there's not really all that much else to say about it, Fish. They're up a lot of gold, and they've got an Ashe who's going to be able to rotate around Summoner's Rift. I mean, unless you can really deeply freeze and defend turrets with your Orianna or something along those lines, which, you know, Rift Herald has certainly stopped being the case, then I actually don't know how they get back into this game anymore. They've just lost complete touch with the tempo of the game.
Chenshuan level 5 being pulled into mid lane to defend Suman. That turret's almost fall down naturally. King's rotating topside to gank a Jarvan. Let's see if he can survive this one. He's been the big playmaker for his team. Almost solo killed Chippies in this match. And his turret's under siege from a Caitlyn as well as a Jace.
I mean, ZZZ is doing well in this lane. He's still up in CS.
Good play, ZZZ.
Even though everything is going wrong, you can see they swap into the 1-3-1 nice and early here to lead bottom lane. But they need to continue the pace of this game because we keep saying it, Fish, but there will be a time where the Cogmore does eventually get a couple of items, comes online. We saw that last week with Raze, where even though they lost, I think, by 12,000 gold, he did the most damage in the game by a ridiculous amount.
Yep.
And that Jarvan just becomes inherently more useful than what is going to be a full lethality Jace. Although ganking Suman now.
Ooh, pops the cleanse and flash. Get out of the knock-up so he can flash away.
No, you can flash headbutt.
Strange.
That's wrong. He fat-fingered or something there.
Just wanted to press both buttons just in case. Riftfel's going to get a wasted charge on this turret, but still kills it.
Yep, they're not going to stick around for any more in the mid lane at least. Just going to look to shove that one in. Top lane already going to be on the turret, Fish.
5,000 gold lead, 11 minutes in for Direwolves. This is not a great game for Regicide. At some point you got to go, let's stop the perfect game, because that's what Direwolves are looking towards now.
I mean, honestly, I think that they're still just trying to say, we've got the scaling advantage. It's on our side. We fell down really far behind early, and that's going to be what comes of that. But for right now, we should just look to, you know, be getting Kedu towards 2 items and an Ardent Sensor, getting everything else back towards, you know, a little bit more neutralized, and seeing what we can create off the back end of a stable mid-game. They're going to be 5,000 gold heading into the mid-game, but if the game goes for, you know, 30, 35 minutes, maybe they've got enough of a comp advantage that they can look to turn this one around.
Do you think we're going to see more heal and support and more cleanse on AD carries besides this lane? Because that was something that was very popular a few seasons ago before heal gave you that movement speed boost.
Yeah, I like it. The reason I like it is I think that, you know, buying QSS early is such a sink at the moment, and everyone has CC. So I honestly think it's a okay pickup. You can see that Shern still wants to impact this lane.
Oh, wall gets thrown down, forced to flash after that.
Yeah, they just don't want to die right now. You can see that in the bottom lane, Chippy's knows that they're looking to gank him, so he's backed right away from the turret.
Daryl's got another one for themselves for free here. ZZ got some damage on bottom lane Auto, but doesn't kill it. ZZ's actually a level up over Chippy, so he's doing well in that lane, but the rest of his team is really falling apart right now.
Doesn't matter how well he's doing if the game continues to go this poorly. And Shern, once again, should nearly die here. The Orianna could have stepped up and put the ball down. They're looking to teleport.
That's a flank. Both teleports are coming into this fight. ZZ jumps in first. We're going to double Clarkus, but he's bounced around in the air. Chippies will finally get on in. Jarvis the first to fall. Regicide are grouped up as 4, but Kedu gets shoved back. Shockwave lands on 2. King of Destiny are fine, though. There's the heal being used by Chern. Chernfire looking for a cocoon. Good blast cone, though. However, they do combo Suman in the mid lane, and rocks are being thrown one after the other. Big team fight for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, that's a desperation play coming in from Regicide. You don't want to be fighting when you're 8,000 gold down and all of the members are on the same part of the map. However, they did pull the trigger, and now Kedu has to burn
his cleanse.
His cleanse as a stray cocoon hit him in the face.
And yeah, 14 minutes in, 26,500 to 18,500 gold. Direwolves commanding their victory. Commanding the lead, I should say. It's not over yet, but it's looking nigh impossible for Regicide to try and find a way back into this game.
This is a real difficult game to win now. I mean, your jungler doesn't even have jungle item. All of your turrets are gone. Your map is in complete disrepair. You had one person with an advantage, that was going to be ZZZ. That's not even really the case anymore because Chippies was able to pick up a kill. There's just no positive things left to say about this game for Regicide. If it goes for 40 minutes, sure, but I don't think the game's going to go that long, Fish.
It's going to be difficult, especially against the aggressive comp the Direwolves have. They can just run straight at you. ZZ does not have the items to tank up a fed lineup of 5 carries except for Alistar. So 4 carries, I should say. Kedu only has a recurve bow. That's to an Infinity Edge components of a seal from King. Not looking very good at all.
Kedu has nothing, Fish.
Oof.
He's
got a cool skin.
Nothing.
That's what he's going for.
I mean, talking about people with absolutely nothing, Chen Xuan has 0.
He's a ward bot.
Yep.
They actually catch out Fade as well. He's dead. Chernfire gets a very easy kill there. But if you're the Direwolves, do you just look to try and continue this game as it goes? Do you take it slow? Do you try to be more aggressive and try and finish this one faster?
I mean, I don't know if they can finish it faster. It's only 15 minutes in and the game's already over. Now they're just locking down turrets.
So good wall being built by Fantix. They shove ZZZ back. He's taken more than half his health and damage. The rest of Regicide do collapse to prevent this turret from falling, but Chippies is split pushing top side of the map and will get top lane in for his trouble.
Yeah, it certainly will. So they're just going to look to, you know, play a little bit of 1-4 now. Talia wall has been used, so there's no way she can go into a different lane. You can see that Shern thought the shockwave was going to come out. It wasn't, so they're absolutely safe, and they're going to knock down 2 turrets and make it a 10,000 gold lead at 16 minutes in.
Yep, only the base is left standing for Regicide.
I was going to say, that's the good news, is that they can now just sit in their base and shop whenever they want. And there's no Baron available, because there's only 16 minutes in the game. So, you know, technically, there's not really all that much apart from jungle creeps and a dragon for Direwolves to take away, unless they want to assault the base at only 17 minutes in. Yep. Bad news is, Fish, is that you're stuck in your base at 16 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, for good news, it's surprisingly bad, Spawn. Don't think if you're Regicide, you'd be happy hearing that.
I've got nothing else for you, mate.
You're the analyst!
Back to the movies we used to like to watch.
I know one. Infernal Affairs.
Infernal Affairs?
That was the movie that The Departed was based on.
Oh, really?
It's not in English. I can't remember what dialect it was in. But it was really good. Liked it a lot.
So you claim to speak Mandarin. Yet to be confirmed or denied, Fish. Did you learn it in high school, or did you just learn it from growing up?
I started learning it when I was 6 years old.
But in high school, in school, or in
school?
Okay.
So I took Mandarin classes all the way till I was 15.
Okay.
And when I was 16 years old, I could not pass a single test. So they put me in what is known in Singapore as CLB, Chinese Language Basic. And it's basically you learn how to speak in simple conversations. And I passed that one.
Makes sense.
So I did all right. But it was, yeah, I used to take Mandarin lessons 5 times a week outside of school. And I was still horrible.
As well?
Yes.
Boy, oh boy, fish.
I was not a very bright student. And they're still trying to force fights here against Regicide.
I mean, they can do whatever they want, as I said, but it is going to be a little bit more difficult. Chippy's with a red buff, fancies his chances against ZZZ. ZZZ says that's not fair. If this was an even game, I would fight you, but it's not an even game, so I refuse. Go away.
ZZ almost solo killed him. He was 5 health and 10 mana off dropping a flag on Chippy's face.
Yep.
But this game is slowly turning into an even bigger disaster than what it already was. Chippy's has been locked down in the bottom lane, but he just flashes out.
Forces him to flash again. Telling you. I actually really want to see RSI, ZZZ, Paradise, whatever you want to call him, playing on a top 4 team. Because I think he has legitimate talent in the OPL.
Well, he's been trying to carry Regicide to success, but it's not working so far. Dial was a great Talia wall, just shoved down an inhibitor turret. No one from Regicide could get close.
Exactly right. They knew that ZZZ's Cataclysm was down. Really all that they're worried about is a Cataclysm into a 5-man Cataclysm, 5-man Shockwave. I don't know. Maybe if they had a 5-man Jinx rocket flying as well, although Jinx obviously not on their team this game, so they'd have to, you know, call in some aerial support from a different game.
Well, they're going to try and force a fight. Shockwave whiffs. ZZ engaged for nothing. Teleports coming in from Chippies. ZZ looks to be the first target, but he's very healthy. Double slam from Chippies. Almost kills 2 people. Kato gets sniped from a Caitlyn. No one from Regicide wanted to take the bullet for him. 19 minutes in. Pick up 3 kills and they're in the base.
Yeah, exactly right. But, you know, still not the end of the game. Might be able to pick up a Baron or something like that off the back end of it, Fish. After all, it's only a 13,000 gold lead, so slow play this one, Direwolves.
That's all they have, Swan.
That is all they had.
They're actually going to blast cone into the Baron pit. It's not even spawned yet.
Here he comes.
I'm scary.
Baron buff is never late, nor is it early, Fish. It arrives exactly as it...
But he's not a wizard.
Baron, you don't know that. You obviously don't know that.
Oh, goodness. That's a 20-minute, 10-second Baron buff picked up right on spawn. And this was the fight from Regicide.
Certainly was. Fantix pops the Ghost, able to get just out of range with no Shockwave going down. Just means Chippies can come in, as you already mentioned, big to the skies. Picks up the first kill, and then the snipe from King will pick up the last kill of that team fight. Kedo's gone with a Ginsu's Rageblade.
Ah.
So... generally, what you want to get is your second item on Cogmore a lot of the time. However, as he's only going to get 1 item this game, may as well pick it up now.
I mean, if you can rush it, it's a big power spike, but up against a Infinity Edge static ship Zeal, not that big of a power spike anymore.
Yep.
Goodness sake. Regicide are trying to go for 1 final play at least. They were sneaking around the backside, but immediately cut off by Fantix. Fade jumps over. ZZ is just stuck there now. Knocked back by Destiny. They want to hunt out this Jarvan, who's going to flag and drag his way back towards the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really care. That's going to open up the map again, this time in a different area.
He's going to go for a flank, though.
Yeah, he should. I mean, this is going to be the kitchen sink play, Fish.
Throw everything you can at the
Throw everything you can at them. This is our stand. We have no Gandalf because we stuffed it up already. CZZ goes in.
Yeah, but he's already going to go down. Faye trying to jump on King's face. Will he be able to get that kill? He does! He stops the perfect game spawn! Regicide have done something, but the rest of their team is getting absolutely smashed. Shutdown comes out from Kedo, but 3 members of the Direwolves are alive.
Yeah, exactly right. So they've still got 3 members up. They're going to be able to break all the inhibitors here if they so want to. Then they should just recall and 1 more push to do this game all it needs.
I thought they could end right
here.
Nah,
they can't end.
They're going to try. They've got 3 waves of supers charging in with Baron buff. Direwolves already on towards the Nexus turret. 6 seconds of both Fade and ZZZ. Nexus turrets are going to fall, and Direwolves back out. Put the cameras down. Get them away. No Direwolves yet.
Yeah, so didn't have anyone to hit the Nexus itself, Fish. You know, which is the problem. But at the same time, when we're talking about problems for the Direwolves, it's that they can't win the game in 22 minutes. They're 17,000 gold up at the moment.
It's the problem for the Direwolves is that they're 22 minutes in. They haven't won the game. They've taken all the dragons, all the barons, and they've died twice. That's your Direwolf problem here. I think they've I think I'd be happy with having that as a problem.
So would I. Another dragon goes down. That one was an infernal, it looked like.
So I'm always curious. Like, if you're a coach of a team like the Direwolves now, who absolutely smashed game 1, what do you say going into game 2? All right, guys, let's do it again.
Exactly
Same
right.
thing.
Exactly like that. You highlight what they did well to win this game. You don't talk about, you know, what was happening 15 minutes plus. You talk about Shern's jungle pathing, the fact that it wasn't punished, so you can go for aggressive pathing again, how they shut down this Cogmore lane. Sleer Wall's going to come in. But pretty much all the positives that they had from the start. Great headbutt pole.
Big headbutt pole coming out from Destiny. ZZ is going to fall first. Suman as well as Kedu already retreating towards the fountain. They can't fight against that. Big shockwave will come out, but it's already a double kill picked up by Chippies. Direwolves will finish up this game 23 minutes in and a very decisive victory.
And Sharp went into the coach's interview and said, yes, we don't have the best late game, but if we execute, it will not matter. And they were able to execute on that early game. They were able to get the Lulu kills when they needed to. With those summoner spells burnt, they just kept going back down there. And they knew that they had more early game strength across the board. And that's what that game showed.
And he was right. At the end of the day, it did not matter because Direwolves were dominant. Regicide, sometimes when they pick up very early defeats, you can still credit one side of their map. I think even in this game, there was not much they did right.
No, there certainly wasn't. I mean, I need to think of a new word that isn't shellacking. That's like the next level of a shellacking. They are shellacked and then some. It was like, yeah, I have absolutely, as I said, that was just one of those games that everything started poorly, and unfortunately, it just never got better.
No, it did not get better at all for Regicide. Dire was able to pick up a very decisive victory. Curious to see if they've got any more tricks up their sleeves, but for now, to break down that quick game, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, guys. Well, it seems like you're right, Jish. Lightning is not going to strike twice. But Dire was too strong for Regicide in that first game.
Yeah, absolutely. That was such like a, I guess from like a viewing standpoint, a really, really boring game to watch. But like, I guess from like an analytical standpoint, just like such a clean performance from Direwolves.
Yeah, I mean, they played the game perfectly, really. Shernfire destroyed the bot lane, completely nullified Regicide's win condition. Just very clean game.
The thing that kind of interests me about this is that going into this, Sharp kind of said quite publicly, look, we haven't been playing to our strengths, obviously losing against Legacy last week. And then I had a quick chat to him before our interview, and he said, look, this is the week where we're finally beginning to hopefully translate a lot of our like scrim practice and stuff onto stage. We're feeling a lot better. We're feeling, you know, so going to this, they felt good and they played really, really well. I
mean, that's what you really want. Every team really wants that. Like you want to, even if you're losing, like if you have a bad week of scrims, I mean, you'd like to play well on the day, but if you have a good week of scrims, you'd like to show that you've been doing well in practice. You show that on the game day, and I think Direwolves really showed that against Regicide today. Yeah,
it sort of echoes the whole philosophy behind Direwolves. You know, they're playing like a split long sort of event. It's not just like, you know, like they're just looking for playoffs or gauntlet. They're very, very much centered around like their week-to-week improvement, and then like transitioning a slow learning sort of grind. And I think that if this is like the trajectory they're on, then I guess they're looking pretty good for Gauntlet.
Meanwhile, for Regicide, do you feel like they played the same style they've played previously, Choo-Choos, or is this kind of a new, potentially worse style from Regicide?
So you even told me, but I've always praised Regicide for the ability to create or be proactive from behind. And I mean, they're always behind, so it's kind of hard to justify that. But in this replay, you can see the Jarvan is the first person to make a TP play. He teleports top, and they want to collapse on Shernfire and the rest of Direwolves in the enemy jungle.
A lot of
You can see Jace is also TPing in. And the biggest thing I'd like to highlight about this is how Regicide weren't able to commit to one or the other. They didn't know if they should go for the TP or if they should commit to Jarvan in the backline. So they spent about 2 seconds walking back and forth, but this is pure gold lead at this point. They're down about 6k at 13 minutes, so it was a very, very hard team fight to pull off. But yeah, the ability to make proactive plays when you're 6k behind that early on is impressive, and a lot of OPL teams can't do that.
Yeah, I feel like there's almost like this small disconnect because it was very clear that ZZZ would like wanted to get in that like heavy, like the deep flank sort of thing, and that maybe if Schumann was a little bit earlier for the fight, that you would see like that EQ combo ult, and he would just like follow him with the shockwave. But Schumann was sort of lagging behind the rest of his team, kind of scared of the Jace like from above him. So yeah, just sort of like on 2 different pages there.
Yeah. The thing is, that game was never out of Direwolves' control. Like for the whole time, they were just like doing whatever they want, and it did look like it was going to be a perfect game, Jish. It was so close, so close.
So this is just throwing the dogs a bone at this point. We saw like ZZZ got chased out of his own base practically, and came in for like this big flank from behind. And then I was watching upstairs. I was like waiting for Fade to flash on King, and he does, and he gets the kill onto King. Ruins their perfect game. Chippies obviously gives up at that point. Just they quickly kill him as well. But there's not much else you can say when you've got like a 10,000 plus gold lead at 20 minutes. I'm just glad that they grabbed up a couple cheeky kills at the end.
Yeah. So something for them to hold on to out of that first game. We'll see if they can improve in game 2 of the series. I want to talk quickly about the draft now. Direwolves picked up Caitlyn, Elise, Talia, Jace, Alistair, and I spoke to Shaft. I spoke to Sharp about the draft. My goodness, before we went in, and he was saying, look, as long as we can execute this comp well, we're going to be fine. We pick the fights we want to take, and we're going to be fine. Also, interestingly, they're still not revealing anything, Jish. They're still playing the same kinds of comps they've been playing for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, I think that they're sort of playing to their opponents a little bit here, because I think multiple times throughout the split, Regicide have looked like the team that if you push their head underwater, they're going to drown very quickly. And I think that having such a pressure-heavy bottom lane and a really an impactful jungler early just means that when they start losing in one lane, it's really hard for them to hold their own elsewhere. And that's the mark of a lot of good OPL teams is that if they lose one lane, they'll start winning the other and they'll capitalize on that. And Regicide just aren't there yet. So I think that moving into the next draft, they need to sort of safeguard probably their bottom lane again, but potentially look to create winning matchups elsewhere.
You can see how practiced this is. Direwolves bot lane. They played Caitlyn so many times internationally at Rift Rivals. They showed how they're able to push the tower and rotate and push an early advantage and snowball the game off that. And I did find it very surprising that Regicide did opt out for the Lulu Cog into that kind of Direwolves playstyle that we're used to seeing. And what I'd like to see next game is an assassin. I want to see Soyman on not the Orianna. I'd like to see him on Blanc or Ari, the champions that he's known for, and try and catch them off guard.
Well, I will say to that extent, Direwolves did ban LeBlanc, Ari, and Zed, so they obviously see his assassin champ pool as a bit of a threat as well.
They're blue side now.
So they first pick it.
Yes.
First pick Zed.
Well, after a game like that, why not? To be fair, you need to catch them off guard. You're picking traditional compositions like this. The Jarvan top lane, Kha'Zix is a bit strange, but you really need to try and shake Direwolves up.
So as a mid laner, what's your go-to, cannot be counterpicked mid lane assassin then? Is there one?
Zed. I think Zed was
Just looks skeptical.
But I just don't think you can put that those things in the same sentence, right? You can't have a go-to uncountable assassin. If you pick an assassin, there probably is an answer, and then it becomes a skill matchup.
If you're good enough at an assassin, you can beat anything.
Yeah, well, if you're good enough at anything, you can beat anything. Obviously, the skill ceiling is so high.
If you're good enough at a champion, it's just
you can beat someone who's worse at the game. Sure, yeah.
One Tricks are so used to playing at a bad matchup that they can pull it together. And
I see.
Yeah.
So do you think he's on his way to? So okay, look, I'm not gonna ask if he's a one trick, but do you think this Cogmore comp should come out again, or do you think something more standard?
No. Do not play the Cogmore comp again. Direwolves bot lane is too strong for that. Shernfire showed that he can punish that. Try something else. Try something that's worked. They did take a series of TM.
Go back to that, maybe.
Yeah, go back to that. Play your LeBlanc, your Ari. I do like the Kha'Zix on Fade. It's a champion that he's shown to be really good on.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that again.
Yeah, I want to see a little bit more early laning power, maybe an early pressuring jungle if they can get the Elise themselves sort of thing. Yeah. Otherwise, his Kha'Zix has looked pretty good too. I just think that, they're putting themselves in a little bit of deficit when they're going to get pushed across. I think all three lanes, they probably just got shoved in, and then it gave too much power to Shernfire. So I want to see a little bit more fight coming out of Regicide in this second draft.
I think for about 3 weeks we saw Fantix play exclusively Corki. He played 6 games of Corki in a row. In last week and this week he's played a little bit more. That's a nice little cinematic we're showing there.
It was very strange.
He's showing his Talia now.
Yeah.
So he's playing a couple of different things.
You look at his solo queue match history, you'd actually think that he is literally a Talia one trick at this point. He's got 30 games or something going on recently.
I think he's realized that. On the desk, we've hammered him about playing Corki for 3 weeks in a row.
Wait, you have?
Am I?
Absolutely.
Maybe, because I'm a mid laner. I'm allowed to do that. But seeing the Talia is really nice to see that he's trying to broaden his champion pool heading into the final weeks of the regular split.
Do you think he's trying to take Sin mid laner Tommy Rama Lee's crown as the best Talia in OS?
Maybe. Like, Talia, I'm a big fan of Talia in itself. Like, she's a champion that has the ability to just roam and win other lanes. And there's nothing better as a mid laner than making the other... Like, there's nothing better than me winning my bot lane... like their lane, and then the other bot lane complaining to their mid laner because of me. Like, that's probably the best feeling as a mid laner.
So you just want to cause discord in the other team.
And then and there's an argument and they fight and you're just laughing and you're like, yes, this is like
my work here is done.
My work is done, and then you just let King carry.
Yeah, Jish, do you agree with that sentiment in terms of what you want to see out of a mid laner?
I think that's definitely a valuable trait to be able to win not only your own lane, but another one at the same time.
Not necessarily winning your lane, just
so you don't
sack your lane. It's not about you anymore.
Yeah, no, I think that it opens up a lot of interesting opportunities to Direwolves. You know, Fantix is a massive TF player, and it makes sense that he can transfer, you know, that sort of TF-esque playstyle onto Talia, who have, you know, pretty similar playstyles.
Oh, maybe we'll see TF on the comeback as well. There's been some recent buffs.
Maybe.
Right. Let's, if you're watching at home and you want to tweet in #I'mOPL, let us know your questions about 7.15. I'll pose them to our analysts in the next segment. We're also going to be accepting questions from Twitch chat, so please do get on board with that. However, it is time for us to get into our second game out of this. So, oh, no, there's this tweet. Oh, we've got a tweet here at OPL. Would Urgot be a good jungler on 7.15 with his rotational mechanic? That's from Dagan Kuhn.
I like Urgot as a top laner. He's good trading and he has a good execute, but I'm not too sure about him in the jungle.
I like Urgot as nothing, especially not a jungler. I think that the changes looked so cool when I looked at the rework and I was watching him, you know, beat up target dummies, and then I've seen him play in a few games, and I think he just looks like. Either no one's figured him out yet, or, you know, he's just not that good at the moment. And I don't think that, you know, putting him in the jungle hides that at all.
I mean, he does have like the knock up. He's got the E. He can get in there. He's got ganking potential, and he has the execute with his ultimate. It's like
glass half full, I guess. Glass half empty. I don't know. I think he looks garbage.
Yeah, I think we're probably just waiting for someone to figure it out and then show the rest of us.
Could that be you two choose? Maybe we're going to see.
Maybe it'll be Minky Whale.
Minky Whale.
It probably will be Minky Whale. He's on some account. We don't know who he is yet.
All right, it's the only Urgot one trick in OS right now. Let's take a look at this tweet as well. #I'mOPL. When can we expect to see the change in meta to more suit movement? To suit movement speed junglers like Rammus and Hecarim and make the Cloud Drake worth? That's from Digital Ping Master. Well, I guess that's a question for the right balance team, to be honest.
So I guess as good as yours, buddy.
Yeah. What changes do you need? Well, let's talk about what changes do you need to see in the meta for those champions to be worthwhile?
I mean, this is like such a dumb answer, but I'm saying if they buff the movement speed to damage ratio Hecarim has, like insanely, maybe people will pick him. I just don't think that, you know, move speed is a very valuable stat, but it has that soft cap that, you know, you generally hit from just buying boots and stuff anyway, that makes the Cloud Dragon not that good. And both those junglers have like inherent weaknesses right now in terms of just like viability compared to other junglers. And I don't think that the way you address that is through making movement speed better. I think it's the rest of their kit.
Yeah, movement speed doesn't win you team fights.
Well,
unless you doing laps around an enemy champion won't reduce their health bar to 0. So
unless they buff the Cloud Drake to give you movement speed in team fights, like in combat movement speed, that'd be sick.
I mean, that would definitely be useful for AD carries and mid laners. But like in tank meta, everyone's sort of stuck in the same spot for a solid 30 seconds. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm a big fan of Hecarim and Rammus, so I would love to see those champions come back.
Yeah, they're heaps of fun to watch.
Yeah, all right. Well, tweet us your questions if you've got them. #I'mOPL or via Twitch chat your questions about 7.15. I'll ask them to our analysts in the next desk segment. But for now, it is time for us to get to our second game of this second match of your OPL Saturday. So let's take a look at some highlights from game number 1.
That's a flash straight up to Chenshred, who gets ignited straight away. Will use his heal, and they get good damage on him. First blood picked up by Surefire. Fantix now right on top of the Orianna. Shockwave used very early to get an even trade. Rock still being thrown. That's a flash angry counter to face. Silver gets taken down. Chippies will finally get on in. Jarvis the first to fall. Regicide are grouped up as 4, but Kedu gets shoved back. Shockwave lands on 2. King of Destiny are fine though. There's a heal being used by Chenshred. Surefire looking for a cocoon. Good blast cone though. However, they do combo Silman in the mid lane, and Rocks are being thrown one after the other. Big team fight for the Wolfpack. If CZ engaged for nothing, teleports coming in from Chippies. ZD looks to be the first target, but he's very healthy. Double slam from Chippies, almost kills 2 people. Kato gets sniped from a Caitlyn. No one from Regicide wanted to take the bullet for him. 19 minutes in, pick up 3 kills and they're in the base. Faye trying to jump on King's face. Will he be able to get that kill? He does! He stops the perfect game spawn! Regicide have done something, but the rest of their team is getting absolutely smashed. Shutdown comes out from Kedu, but 3 members of the Direwolves are alive. Big headbutt pole coming out from Destiny. ZZ is going to fall first. Human as well as Kedu already retreating towards the fountain. They can't fight against that. Big shockwave will come out, but it's already a double kill picked up by Chippies. Direwolves will finish up this game 23 minutes in and a very decisive victory.